Hi everyone, we've lived in Hoi An, Vietnam for a month now and I'm super excited to share with you all why Hoi An has become our top digital nomad spot for productive work. I thought it'd be time for an honest review after living here for a month, and I'll also share with you guys the cost of living in Vietnam. That's kind of unexpected. Let's start with a little bit of background history about Hoi An City. Hoi An is actually located in central Vietnam and it's this tiny wee city in the map compared to the rest of Vietnam, but for some reason it is the most popular tourist destination in the whole of Vietnam. Having a city that is tourism focused is both good and bad. Unfortunately, we've had the bad end of it and gotten scammed a few times.
I think we just got scammed, but
more on that later. First, let's talk about the best stuff. Food in Hoi An is so amazing. Now, food is a very big category for us because literally this is where we spend the most money on anywhere we go in any country or city. Vietnamese food has easily become my favorite cuisine in the world. The variety here is actually insane. Like, I thought coming to Vietnam, I had this impression that we'll be having pho every day, but actually it was quite a mission to find good pho in Hoi An. And I'll share my Google Maps of all the Hoi An restaurants that we have tried in the link description below. You can thank me later. You'll also see that I've not pinned any restaurants in the Old Town area, and that's for a good reason, because the prices around the Old Town is super hyped up because of tourism, and the food isn't even that great. The real deals are those family-owned restaurants that has no AC located in the outskirts of Hoi An. That is Yan Restaurant, Restaurant Tuan, and Bún Chả Gia Hung. All these three restaurants are super delicious and very reasonably priced. And the best part is the food is really cheap. We spent about 1,300 New Zealand dollars a month on food in Hoi An. After Chiang Mai, this is actually the cheapest place for food in our travels. For a bit of context, we do eat out every single meal, and we do stick to local eats. Next, let's talk about the people. People in Hoi An are one of the friendliest, warmest people that we've met on our travels this year. We've just had really lovely encounters with the locals that we've met here. While we were around a local cafe called Times Cafe, we met the cafe owner. His name is Hao. And we were just having coffee, having a good chat. He told us that he's an ex-tour guide and he offered us a really cool boat tour at a very good price compared to whatever is on the market. I know a lot of you guys might be like, oh well, that's just him trying to sell his services and that's his way of doing business. Like, I get that, but it's more than that. You can definitely feel how genuine he is and his sincerity to really want to show how beautiful his town is, going out of his way to do that for us. Also notice that people in Hoi An have a really good command of the English language compared to the rest of the country. Coming from Japan, we are really grateful that they speak really good English here. And this is a direct result of tourism. They're just more open to foreigners and just more friendly in general. Even if these things are just really small gestures, it means so much to us. I just wanted to talk about the experiences I've had. So I was at this restaurant called Bún Chả Gia Hung, which is one of the restaurants that I've recommended before. The restaurant owner, who was already busy and whatnot, she saw that it was really hot for me to get onto the motorbike seat because it's been under the sun for ages. So she went out of the way to find a little cardboard box and like cut it out and put it on the seat for me. I was like, you didn't have to do that. I was just so touched. Little things like that matter. On the other hand, I did mention that we've been scammed. Of course, this is to be expected when you're a foreign traveller. It happens everywhere in the world. So this is what happened for us in Hoi An. It happened at a petrol station right opposite to Times Cafe. Just for location's sake. I don't know if it's always dodgy, but we went to get petrol for our scooter and we asked for a half tank and we paid 300k dong. For a half tank of petrol in Hoi An, it's usually 30k. We paid 10x of what we should have paid. We didn't find out until much later after we talked about that with our friends. They're like, what the hell, why would you pay 300k? There are other examples too in the food industry where they give us higher prices for food seeing that we're tourists. There's even 2 separate menus in Vietnamese and 1 in English, and the prices on those are totally different. So just be aware that this is pretty common, and especially in the touristy side of Hoi An, which is the old town. Hey, if you're finding this helpful, I'd so appreciate if you give us that thumbs up and comment below if you want to see more videos like this. Okay, let's talk about work. Out of all the places that we've been to, this was our most productive month as digital nomads. It's all thanks to the co-working space that we went to called the Hub Hoi An. By the way, it is not sponsored whatsoever. Just wanted to talk about it because just how much value we got out of it. So the Hub is their first co-working space in Hoi An, and it also comes with a very, very active community. We've met like the loveliest group of people, a group of digital nomads, expats, and very like-minded people in general. And this feels really different from just meeting digital nomads on like a weekly meetup thing, because you connect to a community of people that you see every day on a different level. Just because we work together throughout the week, we have lunch together, like community lunches as well, and then after work we'd hang out, have drinks, and in the weekends we do day trips as well. Yeah, it felt like family to us. Working space itself is one of the best that we've been to ever. It's located next to just lush green paddy fields, and it's super beautiful and romantic and really comfortable to work at. The only downside we can think of is that it is slightly more expensive. It's 4 mil dong a month to use the facilities as well as to have a membership with the community. That comes to about, I think, 280 New Zealand dollars. I haven't quite done the calculation yet. We were lucky enough to be able to volunteer at the Hub, which means that we were allowed to use the facilities and have access to community events for free, which was really, really valuable for us. I volunteered in doing social media marketing and taking photos and videos for them, and Titus helped with SEO marketing. We could not find any other co-working spaces in Hoi An that's at this level. There are plenty of cafes in Hoi An, but not many has air conditioning. At this time of the year, it's sweltering hot. It's like 40 degrees out there, so AC is a must. Actually, I wrote an article for the Hub as well on the best cafes in Hoi An to work at for digital nomads, so I'll also link that in the description below. Hoi An is a hustle city. Like, if you want to work hard, not get distracted, then you come to Hoi An. Don't get me wrong though, there are definitely many things that you can do in Hoi An if you want to. So there are plenty of nightlife, bars, clubs, things like that if that's your jam, and there are also really beautiful beaches not far from Hoi An at all. It's just more of a laid-back place compared to more happening places in other cities in Vietnam. However, it is always quite busy and happening in the old town in the evenings, and that's because it's packed with tourists. It is very serene and very beautiful the first time you go see it. There are lanterns everywhere. It's just very, very beautiful, like nothing we've seen before. But it's sort of the thing that you only need to see once and you'll be okay with that. Also many opportunities for day trips around Hoi An. We've done a couple of things. Like, we've done the boat trips to the carpentry and the pottery villages. This day trip was organised by Hao, the cafe owner that we mentioned before, and there's also Mison and Da Nang, which are driving distance away from Hoi An. We also did a snorkeling day trip at Charms Island, which is absolutely beautiful. Like, I feel like you should really check it out. It's not promoted enough in Hoi An. In total, we spent about 383 New Zealand dollars in the leisure and holiday category here, which is pretty affordable. Let's talk about accommodation. There are lots of really, really nice places that you can stay at in Hoi An that's really affordable. An average place for an apartment in Hoi An through Airbnb is about 800 New Zealand dollars, so 1,300 New Zealand dollars a month. We stayed at an Airbnb apartment which was 1,000 New Zealand dollars. In hindsight, the apartment was pretty small for the price that we paid. We probably spent a bit too much on that apartment. With that sort of money, we could have definitely stayed more comfortably in a bigger apartment. Where we stayed was quite close to the old town, right next to the river. I'm pretty sure that the price is that high because we're literally paying for the riverside location. So, planning to live in Hoi An, we would suggest that you do not stay in the old town. I don't know how many times I've emphasized this, but old town equals tourist. Tourist equals expensive. Unnecessarily expensive. So I would recommend that you stay close to the green paddy fields. That's a great location because that's very localized. Like, there are lots of good local eats. People still understand like really good English here, and a lot of those working cafes and the co-working space are all out in that direction. Lots of our friends also stayed in homestays, which I think are quite a bit cheaper, and they also provide breakfast. I just want to say that shopping is a real problem in Hoi An. If you need access to the mall or some air-conditioned shopping centre, brace yourself because Hoi An has no malls. Because for the traffic that this city gets, like, it's just insane that they don't have like a shopping complex with air conditioning. Closest mall to Hoi An is a 45 minutes car ride in Da Nang, which is another city. For things like, you know, beauty products like shampoo, you have to get them from a pharmacy or a convenience convenience store, which is a little bit more expensive than what it would be from a supermarket. And for the rest of your groceries, you just get it from a wet market. We spent about 247 New Zealand dollars shopping in Da Nang, not even in Hoi An. Talk about transportations and getting around in Hoi An, and this was a deal breaker for us. Having the scooter in Hoi An honestly completely changed our experience of how we thought about this place. We initially had bicycles and we were damn miserable, and then we got a bike, and then we love this place, and here's why. Hoi An is definitely a pretty walkable city compared to the rest of Vietnam. However, to get to places like, you know, those cafes I talked about, the beaches, the rice paddy fields, like, it's a bit of a mission. So we started off with riding bicycles. Road traffic here is definitely more laid back than the bigger cities like Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh, because there's not many cars at all, but it's still pretty chaotic. Like, people turn whenever they want to, there's no signals whatsoever, and they just beep 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 to let you know that they're there. It's just a form of their communication, and people drive into your lanes, and it's pretty stressful. Ride with caution. Then we upgraded to a scooter, which was recommended by a friend for 800k dong for 2 weeks. The scooter definitely played a big part on how much we enjoyed Hoi An, because we are not walking or biking in the heat of 40 degrees. Guys, the best feeling is to ride your scooter alongside the green lush paddy fields when the sun is setting. It's just, if you don't do this in Hoi An, I feel like you've not fully experienced Hoi An. Okay, so everything added together, this is the cost of how much living in Hoi An for a month as a digital nomad costed us for 2 people. What the... We spent 3,685 New Zealand dollars a month. I just can't believe that the cost of living in Hoi An for a month is pretty similar to living in Taiwan, in Kaohsiung. I'm actually kind of shook. Anyway, to summarize, these are the costs of living in Hoi An for a month. I'm just going to list them here. Before I get into the numbers, if you are new here and you are not already subscribed to the channel, please would you hit that subscribe button for me, and actually comment below if you want to see full reviews or comparison videos with all the places that we've traveled to in Asia this year. Let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, this is how much we've spent in Hoi An, Vietnam. Did this number surprise you? What did you think?